Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this Lenovo ThinkPad P51S. Alright, so we're going to close this up, flip it over, and we're going to remove the battery. There's a secondary battery inside that you can disable in the BIOS, but I'm going to just physically disconnect it. Let's go ahead and pull these two tabs to the side. This one locks in place, this one is spring loaded, so you're going to have to keep holding this. Then you can go ahead and pull this back. Alright, I don't know why it's not focusing right. It keeps focusing on, I don't know what. Alright, anyways, we're going to use a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver and remove all the screws from the bottom. Alright, they can be different size, shape, and length, so you want to keep them in order. Actually, these screws seem to stay in the case, so we'll just unscrew them and then leave them there. Alright, let's go ahead and get the other screws. Okay, it looks like they all stay in, so that's a nice design. Alright, go ahead and get this. There's a BIOS or CMOS reset button here. This little hole, excuse me. So if you're having issues with your computer starting up, you can try pushing that little button in there with a pin for about 15 seconds, and that will reset somewhat like a BIOS reset. For some reason, this screw came out, but it looks like they're all supposed to hold themselves in place. Alright, anyways, once we got all those screws, let's go ahead and see how we can pop this open. So I'm going to get my fingernails in this gap between the base here, and you can see it actually popped up a little bit, and then we're just going to keep working our way over. Alright, so we're unclipping these clips here. Okay, the customer opened this before, so it might be easier than it should be. So if for some reason you can't get yours apart, it could be that the clips on here, maybe the customer broke them. But anyways, let's continue going across. I'm just continuing to slide my fingernails in between the gap where the palm rest is and this bottom cover. Okay, you can see we're just popping all these clips out. Okay, and then we're going to go along the front as well. Alright, now that we got everything unclipped, there are some clips here, but let's see if we can get it up now. We might have to kind of lift from this side and from here and then push the whole cover this way because the clips are kind of grabbing in like this. Okay, so here you can see, we can pull that forward and there we go. Alright, so we got the bottom cover off. So the customer said that there's a jumper or a switch here. So there's a Tamper cover switch that used to be here that they broke off. So I'm going to have to figure out which pins I need to kind of short together to get it to detect that the screen is closed. I'll probably have to jump some wires across, but let's go ahead and see what we got. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do, let's see if I use a voltmeter here. Actually, let me go over the internal components here for you guys real quick. So there's 2 sticks of RAM, or 2 slots for RAM. There's only 1 stick here. I'm going to actually disconnect the internal battery right now. So I'm going to just grab this and wiggle this connector to pull it out. Alright, here you go. We got this battery out. And if you're wondering, the battery model number, there's an part number, ASM part number, and FRU part number here. So if you need those, they're right there. I'm trying to see if there's another model number somewhere here. Sometimes there's another model number, but I'm not seeing it. So yeah, I don't see another model number. Okay, so anyways, you can try using these model numbers and hopefully those will find the battery. If not, you can just search this, I think it was P51S, and hopefully you can find the battery that way. And then this battery, is there a model number here? There's also an ASM and FRU part number on this. Okay, so you'll want to check your battery to see if it's the same, but you can see there's those part numbers there as well. Okay, yeah, we're gonna set that aside. Okay, like I was saying, we got 2 sticks of RAM, but or 2 slots for RAM, but there's only 1 stick here. So I pulled those 2 tabs to the side, then it pops up, then you can go ahead and pull it out. There's a 16 gig PC4 2400T. So if you want, you can get another 16 gig PC4 2400T and add it to the other slot for 32 gigs RAM total. You do want to have equal slots here. Okay, you got the wireless card here. You got an SSD. There's a 512 gig SSD. There's a M.2 PCIe NVMe, I think, or is it SATA? It doesn't say. This might actually be a SATA SSD. It doesn't say, so you might have to go based on this part number. If you look up this part number for this Transcend SSD, TS512GMTS430S, look that up, see if it's SATA or NVMe, because it doesn't say on here. I don't know if it will support the PCIe NVMe or not. Okay, so there's another Tamper switch here, it looks like. So this is the other Tamper switch that I was talking about. This gets pushed in when the cover is on. And I'm going to have to see how this switch works here. Okay, so what else do we got in here? There's a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive right here, okay? And this, let me actually zoom out here so I can show you this better. Okay, let's zoom out a bit more. There you go. Okay, so this comes out. There's a pull tab here. You can pull this over that direction, and then you can lift it up. So you have to pull it that way to unlatch this piece that sticks out. All right, and then you can get the hard drive out like this. They put an SSD in here, but yeah, it's a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. You can disconnect this cable. Usually the way I do that is I get my fingernail in there, and then I kind of like twist it to pry this connector out. Okay, but I think there's also tape holding this. Yeah, there's tape holding this thing. So I'm going to leave this as is. I don't want to mess around with it. The customer doesn't need me to work on that. They just want me to try and fix the tamper switch issue. So we're going to push that in. All right, you got one speaker down here with a blue and white cable running along the bottom all the way to the other speaker here, and then it plugs in right there. This hard drive connector, it disconnects with a little flip latch, so this flips up like that, and then you can pull this connector out, but I'm going to leave that in there. All right, you got the CMOS, BIOS, RTC, real-time clock battery, whatever you want to call it right here. Okay, it looks like they might have replaced it and then just put some electrical tape on it. Okay, what else do we got? I'm not too sure what these connectors, this one goes into the screen. This one, is that which one's the power button? Let me see here. I don't know if that's for the power button. It might be. So I'm not too sure. I don't want to mess around with it as like the other ones. Okay, you got the fan connector here. All right, the fan looks like if you want to take the fan out, you have to take the whole heatsink out. All right, and then you got the LCD LVDS connector here. So if before you remove this, you want to open up the screen after disconnecting both batteries, and then press and hold the power button for 15 seconds before messing with this. All right, then you got the DC jack or charge port connector here. It looks very easy to remove. There's just that and this metal bracket on top. Remove these two screws, it swings up, it tucks into this under this piece here, and then you can slide that metal bracket out. And yeah, the charge port DC jack is pretty easy to remove, it seems. And that's pretty much all I'm going to show in this thing. There's this connector here. It says T-pad, so that's most likely the touchpad connector. And then the keyboard and everything, I guess, is on the other side. I don't see it. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and see about how these case intrusion switches work. Usually what happens is when these get pushed in, it shorts the pins and basically acts like a button. Okay, so we're going to switch this over to the resistance mode here, or the ohms, and we're going to see if we get a resistance reading across the solder pads. Okay, so right now, let's see, I got to move this so you guys can see. It's showing that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go across these two, and here you can see there's a right here you can see some resistance. Okay, and if I push this in, let's see if it changes. So here you can see as I push this in, it opens it up. Okay, so there you go. And if I put this here, you can see this is open. If I put this here, that's open. Oh wait, actually, oh wait, zero resistance, sorry. Zero means zero resistance. I'm confusing myself. Okay, so right now with this switch pushed in, it might be, okay, the numbers might be going off because my finger's there. So you can see 0, Okay, 0, 0. So that means all of these are like connected to each other. Okay, so now when I let go of that, let's see here. So we got this. It has a little bit of resistance. This has a little bit of resistance. This has 0. Interesting. Wait. Does that mean these two are the same? Okay, so maybe... Okay, so if we go to here, there's the resistance and the resistance, right? So I think what happens is all 4 of them actually short together. So when you push this, all the pins are basically shorted together. So right now there's some small amount of resistance. Or is it, or am I touching the sleeve there? Okay, let me try this again because I want to make sure. So if I touch this, nothing is happening. If I touch down here, you can see it's showing 0. Touch here, showing 0. Touch here, showing 0. But, okay, if I let go and I touch here, it's showing 0. So these two are all physically linked, and then these two aren't. So here you can see some resistance. I think that's kind of small amount, but anyways. Okay, so these ones are basically the same. This is nothing. This is nothing. Okay, so this isn't grounded. It's just to this. Okay. So these, I think these two are the same, right? 13 and 13. Yeah, so these are physically linked, and these are physically linked. So I don't know if it's the same with this. I would assume so, but I don't know. Okay, so if I check these physically, you can see it's, I don't know why it's showing a negative there. Okay, what about here? So you can see this is pretty much 0. I don't know why it's showing negative resistance. That's weird. Okay, and if I check these two, wait, how does this have nothing? Now I'm confused. So this is 0, and this is not showing anything. It's like it's broken. Okay, so across here, negative. Across to here, negative. What about to this? Negative. And here, negative. So I'm assuming I just have to... Oh, sorry, I was going out of view. Okay, so I'm assuming I just have to short these sideways, because if I go here, you can see for some reason it's showing some negative numbers. Okay, oh, how come I can't get a good view of this? Sorry, guys. Okay, so if I do these two, you can see it goes to 0. But for some reason, if I do these two, nothing. Okay, and then if I do these two, you can see it's showing a negative. And if I do these two, it's showing also a negative. But if I go across here, it's still showing negative. Okay, if I do this one, what if I do this and across? So no matter which one I do, it's the same. But for some reason, these two aren't linked. It's showing a 1. So you can see when you get a direct connection, it shows 0. But for some reason, these aren't connected at all. So I don't know if I have to run some jumper wires this way and this way. But I'll try it. Excuse me. All right. So I don't know if I should use this super thin wire that I bought. This is meant for fingerprint. I don't think I should use that. Okay, let me get some wire and I'll be back. We're gonna basically just solder some wire across left and right from both sides. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. Let's see here. This might be a bit tough to do because this thing is pretty small. Alright. Let me try one thing here. I'm going to try and add some solder to the wire first. Okay, I don't know if it'll work or not. Let's see here. Sorry, you're just staring at the board because I'm trying to get this stuff working. Okay, it looks like it will work. Let me lower the temperature a little on my soldering iron. Okay. So I have this super thin copper wire that I kind of just twisted together and then added some solder to the end. I'm going to add a bit more. I need to put flux on it and then I'm melting the flux with some solder on the end to try and get it coated. Alright. And let me see if I can somehow, hopefully I can solder this wire to here. I'm going to try and first add some solder onto the little solder pad. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of flux there. It's a little tough because that pad is so small. Let's see what we can do here. Get a little solder on the soldering iron and see if I can get the solder to flow there. Okay, that worked. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and solder this wire onto it. Okay, it's going to be a bit tough because there's not much area to work here. Okay, you can see it actually is staying on now. So now this wire is actually soldered on there. Okay, oh, I soldered it the wrong direction. I need to turn it around. Okay, good. And now we need to do the same, but we need to get this to go down onto there. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to snip off this excess, and then we can hopefully jump it right there. So we'll snip off this excess. Okay. And let's see if we can jump this right there. Basically just going to add some flux onto that and then solder some wire directly onto it. That's way too much. I only need a tiny bit. Okay, sorry guys, this is a little bit difficult. Okay, so we'll get the flux onto this. Come on. Okay, got the flux there. Now we just need to get some solder to flow onto it. Okay, let's see if this will work. Okay, it's working. Want it to flow to the pad below. Oh no, I picked it up. That's not good. Okay, that's not gonna work. Problem is, I need this to stay down. I heated it too much and the whole thing just came up. Okay, we just need that one to stick. Good. And we need that one to stick as well. Hopefully they're both sticking now. So we can check. Okay, good, solid, solid. Okay. Let's see if that's good enough or if I have to jump the other side as well. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just plug it in and we'll turn it on. And I do have to hold the other case intrusion switch down. So let's go ahead and get this battery reconnected. Okay. Let's zoom out again. Let's get this battery connected. We don't really need to put the bottom cover on. We're just going to kind of hold that in place and let's see what we got. I'm going to open this up. Okay. So let's turn this around. I'm going to set the keyboard cover aside. Okay. I'm going to use my thumb here, over here. All right, to push that case intrusion switch up. And let's go ahead and power it up and see what we got. Okay, it's starting up. Okay, bottom cover tamper, escape to continue. So I'm going to press escape. Then what I'm going to do, I don't want to show their account stuff, so I need to keep this away. Okay, now I'm going to shut it off. Oh, I forgot they have Ubuntu on, so it's probably not an issue because I can just shut it off. Okay. Alright, so while I'm holding it now, let's power it up again and see if we get the same error or if it's going to go away. Still, okay. So I guess we're going to shut this off. And let's go ahead and jump the other two wires then. Okay. So I'm going to take the battery out here. Alright. Hopefully I'm right about it jumping across this direction. Alright. Pull this apart again. Oh, and I probably should also test to see if it's actually showing zero resistance now. Okay. So if we touch these two together, okay, 0. Alright, let's go ahead and see here. So this and this. Okay, what about now? Okay. That's still 0, so what if I do this now? Huh, how's that working? Okay, so if I connect here with here. Okay, yeah, that, oh wait, that always did nothing. So if I do this, yep, that's 0. Okay, so now we just need to jump these two. So basically that would just jump all the wires. Because if everything is 0, that just means everything is all connected to each other. Okay, so I guess let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so I'm going to add some flux to this and then add some solder. Let's turn the soldering iron back on. Right, sorry, I know this video is kind of like messy, but yeah, I don't know how many people are going to have to try and do this, so it's probably not, this video might not be too helpful to begin with. Alright, except for the inside of the laptop view. Uh-oh, I heated the iron too much. Now I have to clean off all this oxidation. Okay, I have to let it heat up more. Okay, good. Add some flux onto this. Okay. So it's this, right now this thing doesn't want to melt through the enamel stuff, so let's get it hotter. Get some flux on there. Okay. Need some more. Now it doesn't want to get soldered. Solder's not sticking onto this thing. Okay, I'm not sure why the solder's not sticking onto it. Maybe not hot enough. Okay, let's get some more. Okay, now it's sticking. Alright, so let's go ahead and get some flux over there and some solder. Add some solder to the solder pads. Alright, so we'll get some flux down here. There we go. Alright, now let's get some solder on there. Okay, there we go. Let's get this wire on there. Alright, that's holding on now. Let's go ahead and cut the excess. Alright, and then we'll push that down there. Let's actually get a little solder on there first, so let's move this out of the way. Solder onto that. Wait, is there no? Okay, there we go. Flux in there. Alright, let's bend this one down there. Okay, let's get some solder. Alright, let's go ahead and see if we can get that to stick down. Okay, should be good. Alright, just tinning the tip of the soldering iron so it doesn't go bad. Alright. So now that we got that, let's go ahead and check again. Sorry, I know I was doing it somewhat far away without zooming in, but let's go ahead and see what we got now. So, assuming we got it right, this one should jump to 0 here. Alright, and there we go. So we got both opposite corners. Oops, I should zoom in. Basically, what we got, if you can see here, we jumped that and jumped that. Okay, so these two jumped over and then this two jumped over. And as you can see, if I touch these two, because the wires have like coating over it, you can see it doesn't do anything. Okay, I actually have to touch the solder area. Okay, so you can see 0 and over here 0. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and see if the tamper error message is not going to show up anymore. If it still shows up, I'm not too sure what else to do here. It'll probably show up the first time again, just because the cover is off, or because the cover is off right now. But let's go ahead and get this battery connector back in. Okay. Technically, we can turn it on with just this battery. We don't have to actually connect both, so let's go ahead and give that a shot. Alright, I'm going to hold the other tamper button there, and let's power it up, and let's see what it shows. Is it going to show it again? And it went straight to it. It didn't even show. Alright, so let's go ahead and shut this off and check one more time. Alright, power this up. Oops. Okay, power it on. Oops, did I turn it off? Now it should be turning on. Okay. And there you go. No more tamper switch error. Alright, so we should be good to go. I'm going to shut this off. Okay, let's go ahead and get this thing all put back together. Alright. So, I'm not sure why they put that tamper switch thing there. If anyone knows, let me know. Maybe it's so it knows that you didn't put the cover back on right. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and get this cover back on. So I don't know if anyone needs to see. I'll just keep this for a video anyways. Alright. Let's see here. So we got that. Alright, so... Oh, one other thing I didn't mention. These holes here, these are water drain holes or liquid drain holes. So if you spill liquid on top of the keyboard, you actually don't want to flip the computer upside down, because it'll actually just drain out through these holes here. So you can see there's these holes. Alright, and it'll just drain through the bottom. If you flip it upside down, then it can actually go over this lip here and then go into everything else. So if you spill stuff on it, just leave it with the keyboard facing up and you should be okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this all back together. Clip all of this back in. Okay, clip all this back in, clip all that back in, and then we just got to get all the screws back. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this. Oh, actually, this is pretty dusty, so I'm going to clean that up real quick, and I'll be back. See you guys in a bit. Alright, so I'm back. We just cleaned this out a bit. Alright, so you can see the fan vent. It still has some dust that I can't really get out, but it's better than before. Alright, basically just get a toothbrush, and then I had to use my electric air blower to kind of blow out the rest. But yeah, it doesn't want to all come out. It's the best we're going to be able to do. So let's go ahead and get this cover back on. Clip everything back in. Okay, let's clip everything back in. Alright, and let's get all the screws back. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. But other than that, that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching. You're welcome to stay as I finish putting back all the screws and the battery. But yeah, that's all there's to it. Alright, let's get this back in. Then we just gotta double check, make sure everything is all clipped in right. Alright, there we go. Let's see here. This looks like it's popping up a little. There we go. Make sure those clips go in right. Look all the way around. Alright, some clips here. Alright, and why does this clip look like it's not going in right? There we go. Push that in all the way. This keyboard, I'm not sure how this one sits in. I don't see like a sliding mechanism or anything. Well, I'm not going to mess with that. Let's get the battery back in. And that's pretty much it. Lock that. Make sure that's all locked. Okay, now let's power it up one more time. Alright. Yep. No more case intrusion message. Alright, thanks for watching. See you all in the next one. Bye. Let's drop this.